Welcome to Wonderland Stories, where magical tales come alive. Today's story is about the princess who never smiled. Let's begin our journey into a land of laughter, kindness, and surprises. Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom surrounded by rolling green hills, tall forests, and sparkling rivers, there lived a young princess named Elara. Princess Elara was admired for her beauty, her wisdom, and her kind heart. She had long golden hair that shone like sunlight, and her eyes were as bright as the stars. But there was something unusual about her. Princess Elara had never smiled. From the day she was born, her parents, King Arvel and Queen Celine, waited eagerly for her first smile. But as she grew into a graceful young lady, not once did her lips curve into laughter or joy. People whispered about it throughout the kingdom, wondering why a princess so blessed in every way carried such a heavy heart. The king and queen tried everything. They brought the funniest clowns from distant lands, who danced, tumbled, and juggled to make her laugh. They hired musicians who played the liveliest tunes. Storytellers told the silliest and cleverest tales. Yet, Princess Elara's face remained calm and serene, never breaking into a smile. The king grew worried, for he loved his daughter dearly. One day, he stood before the court and declared, "Whoever can make my daughter smile shall be rewarded with half my kingdom and her hand in marriage." The announcement spread far and wide, and soon, travelers, magicians, jesters, and even princes from distant lands came to try their luck. Some brought exotic animals to perform tricks, tigers that leapt through fiery hoops and parrots that recited poetry. Some staged grand plays with painted backdrops and loud trumpets. Others offered treasures so dazzling they sparkled brighter than the sun. But no matter what they tried, Elara remained unchanged. She bowed politely and thanked them for their efforts, but her lips never curved into joy. You see, though no one knew, Princess Elara had a gentle sadness deep in her heart. She longed for laughter not born of riches or tricks but of something true and simple, something real. One day, in a quiet village on the edge of the kingdom, lived a poor but cheerful young farmer named Liam. Liam was not wealthy, nor did he have fancy clothes. But what he had was kindness, a playful spirit, and a big heart. He loved to help his neighbors, share stories with children, and sing songs while working in the fields. Everyone in the village adored him, for he could bring warmth and happiness wherever he went. When Liam heard about the king's challenge, he laughed to himself and said, "I don't have riches or tricks, but perhaps I can bring her a little joy with the gifts of kindness and honesty." His neighbors encouraged him, and though he was nervous, he set off for the castle with his loyal donkey, Clover. The journey was long. Liam crossed green meadows filled with wildflowers, sang cheerful songs that made birds follow him, and even helped a merchant fix his broken cart along the way. "A cheerful heart makes the path lighter," he told Clover, scratching the donkey's ear. By the time he reached the castle gates, he felt no fear, only hope. When Liam entered the great hall, the courtiers chuckled at his simple clothes and his donkey. "Do you really think you can make the princess smile?" they teased. But Liam bowed respectfully before the king and queen and asked for a chance. The king, though doubtful, agreed. Liam looked at Princess Elara, who sat gracefully on her throne. Her eyes were kind but solemn, as always. He thought to himself, "She doesn't need tricks, she needs truth." So, instead of juggling or performing, Liam simply began to tell stories about his little village. He spoke of the mischievous goat who kept sneaking into his garden, the rooster who thought he was a king, and the children who played pranks that left everyone laughing. As he spoke, he made funny faces, exaggerated the voices of the animals, and acted out the silliness of his daily life. The courtiers began chuckling despite themselves, but all eyes were on the princess. Princess Elara's eyes widened with curiosity. No one had ever spoken to her with such honesty and warmth before. Then, just as Liam was describing how Clover the donkey once ran off with his laundry, leaving him chasing her in nothing but his underclothes, something magical happened. Princess Elara's lips trembled, and a tiny sound escaped her throat. She laughed. It wasn't a soft giggle or a small chuckle. It was a bright, joyful laugh that rang through the hall like music. Everyone gasped in amazement, and the king and queen wept with happiness. For the first time in her life, their daughter had smiled. The hall erupted in cheer, but Liam stood humbly, bowing before the princess. Elara wiped tears of joy from her eyes and said, "Thank you, Liam. You did not try to dazzle me with riches or performances. You shared your heart, and that made me smile." The king, true to his word, offered Liam half his kingdom and Princess Elara's hand in marriage. But Liam said gently, "Your Majesty, I did not come here for riches or rewards. I only wished to bring joy to the princess." Elara, moved by his honesty, smiled again. This time, she stood and walked toward him. "And yet, it is your kindness that has touched my heart," she said softly. "I do not need treasures, Liam. What I wish for is a life filled with laughter and truth." The king and queen exchanged looks of relief and joy. Their daughter had not only smiled but also chosen wisely. And so, Princess Elara chose Liam to be her companion, not because of wealth or fame, but because he had given her the most precious gift of all, her first smile. Together, they brought joy not only to each other but to the whole kingdom. The people rejoiced, for their princess was happy at last. Laughter and kindness spread across the land, and Princess Elara became known as the Smiling Princess, a symbol of hope and love. Children played merrier games, families shared more laughter at their tables, and even travelers passing through the kingdom said they could feel the joy in the air. From that day on, she never stopped smiling, for she had discovered the secret she longed for. True happiness lies not in riches, but in the warmth of honesty, kindness, and laughter shared with others. Thank you for listening to Wonderland Stories. Remember, just like Princess Elara, happiness is found in simple moments of kindness and truth. Keep smiling, and join us again for another magical tale.